Last Thursday, the Toledo Board of Honor recommended removing an honorary street sign outside Fifth Third Field for Msgr Jerome Schmit. Critics say he interfered in the 1980 Sister Margaret Ann Pahl murder investigation. As Toledo City Council prepares to vote on the sign, lead investigator Brian Duggar has uncovered documents that are important to that debate. Brian?
Yeah, this debate centers on the actions of Msgr Schmit on April 19, 1980, when Father Gerald Robinson was being questioned by detectives. Now, Schmit arrived at the safety building with an attorney. Robinson then left the interview room and the building with that attorney. Now, the question is, was Schmit protecting Robinson's right to legal counsel, or did he interfere with an active murder investigation?
The prosecutor's letter, she actually talked about the right to have legal counsel. She said that they stopped it so that he could get legal counsel.
That was Toledo Board of Honor member Venice Williams before voting against a recommendation to remove the Msgr Jerome Schmit honorary street sign. But records reviewed by 11 investigators show that is not what Lucas County Prosecutor Julia Bates wrote in her letter to the board. Bates's letter did not argue that Robinson had no right to an attorney. Instead, it focused on Schmit and an attorney interrupting the police interview. And 11 investigators has reviewed 2 waiver of rights forms signed by Robinson, including one on April 19th, the day Schmit arrived at the safety building. The forms advised Robinson of his right to remain silent and his right to have an attorney present during questioning. Both forms also include this statement: "I do not want a lawyer at this time." Again, Robinson signed these forms. And that matches what retired detective Tom Ross wrote in a letter to the Board of Honor. He wrote that both detectives involved in the interrogation told him Robinson did not ask for an attorney. Ross also wrote that Detective Art Marks told him the interruption pretty much shut down the investigation as it related to Robinson. Now, these documents and letters reviewed by 11 investigators raise questions. Why was an attorney brought into a secure area of the safety building during an active murder interview when Robinson had already signed forms saying he didn't want a lawyer? And did Schmit make that possible because of his power and influence? Now, City Council will have to decide on July 14th when it's scheduled to vote on the sign's future. Reporting in studio, I'm Brian Duggar for 11 Investigates.